For what? Nice.
Oh, 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 longest for the longest time. Oh, oh, longest for the long. If you
Actually,
say,
there's one about the farmer's market. My grandmother.
Later.
では、前に出ます。
Hello, chat. How's it going, guys? Also, let me know if the music's a bit loud. It feels like it is to me. Been trying to, like, tweak it some. Hello, Sonner? Okay, I've gotten the go live tweet out. Chat, do me the favor, go give me some love. Is this NA? Why am I on? How did I end up in LB7? And of course, it broke the capture card. Okay, let's get this party started while the capture card is fixing itself. Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's doing good. I did get the go live tweet out on Twitter if you guys go give that some love. I hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. We're kind of in chill mode right now, as obviously you guys know JP's done its whole spiel, and we are now looking at kind of just some dead time on JP until we get the next Winter Carnival live stream. So until that happens, and maybe we get some news about like the Valentine's Day event on there, and NA is pretty much all we got. NA, I actually fell a little bit behind because over the weekend I was out doing stuff with the girlfriend and couldn't really focus on the game. And so as a result, we do have a little bit of catch up to do, but I don't think we have too much. I've been playing a little bit over the course of the day, trying to focus on story and mission completion. We're probably fine. We'll go ahead and get started here. But how's everybody's weekend? What were you guys up to? Happy Monday. Hello. How's it going, Yugi? Hello, Simply. How have you been? At least both servers will be Valentine's soon. Yeah, I mean, realistically speaking, I probably need to like already just go ahead and like start setting up making the next thing. It's just one of those deals of like, realistically speaking, I like taking the opportunity to just kind of relax some. So we got the Waniguchi here. I could probably blitz the health value, at least to an extent. I don't know if I'll be able to kill outright. I do have MLB of the damage sheet now because I got a nice lucky drop, but definitely at least like concerned somewhat about 300 HP. But I guess I shouldn't be. Still did 1 million. Got to catch up with the event. Yeah, I do recommend again, guys, try not to fall too far behind. It's not like impossible to do, but I saw a lot of people that when this came out on JP, they waited until the end of the event before they actually started focusing, and it kicked them in the ass because there's way too many like 5 AP and conditional unlocks. So I think that just is something I would advise you guys is just like, don't sleep on the event. Don't let it like kind of creep up on you and ignore it, because if you do, you're not going to be able to finish. I have to complete mission number 9. And it looks like I have a new 90 node, which is going to be gold again, it looks like. Perfect. Yeah, I don't really have any Cs for the event. Obviously, I could roll at FP, get some bronze Cs. I haven't really had the time to do that either. And got hit by our Angry Rathalos. Yeah, so I actually got home a little bit early because I got an exercise bike delivered that I had ordered around Christmas time. And they came in, they set it all up for me, but I basically had to be home for that, so I was not able to like be at the office for like the last couple hours of today. But so because of that, I got a little bit of extra time on Monster Hunter, which I sorely needed because the event was ending. But we should be doing pretty good in that front. So I've definitely put on some weight here over the holidays, and I need to focus on cooking for myself and working out again and getting it all back off. And I'm going to be enjoying having the exercise bike because now I can start getting some actual cardio, which is definitely something I needed. Folks might want to make sure they have space for all the Valentine's Cs incoming. Yeah, I mean, generally you're okay, especially because you can just kind of like let them fill up and handle them one by one by one by one by one. Especially for Cs that you already have. Remember, there's a little bit of a sage advice on how to handle CEs for Valentine's Day, but it shouldn't be too bad. You have a Discord? I do have a Discord, yes. I should be able to type in !Discord on the YouTube side of things, Nicole, and it'll give it to you. I like the defense battle since I got to try Lancer Lee Shuan. Yeah. I do, in general, like, this is very similar to the way the game actually functioned, which I find hilarious a little bit, that, how well it translates over to like FGO's formula. On YouTube side, yes. I mean, they might be able to see the link there in chat, but there's a lot of O's there, so. Not grabbing Ushi or Yui. I've thought about it. I like Yui is the one that I like. I kind of am like, I wouldn't mind. So we'll see. I could maybe try throwing some stuff and just seeing if I get a 4-star here. But let's focus on getting AP down first. If we do impromptu rolls, we do them. Oh, nope, that's not what I wanted to press. No. Take me back. Let me complete the missions. And then we have event missions. Whoops. Okay, so I'm actually up against time lock. Thank God. I haven't been at time lock now for several days, so it feels good. And there you go. There's my, since I got a drop, I now have an extra copy, which is unfortunate because it means I didn't need to buy one of the copies out of the shop, but you can't really plan around that sort of thing. In the meantime, looks like I have a ton of bronze. Let's go ahead. I'll grab the bells since I need them arguably the most. I'll grab seeds. Then bones. Then that only leaves me a little bit, so we'll try to grab as many meteor horseshoes as we can. Same thing on this side. We're going to grab the twilight swords here. And none of these actually matter. And there we go. Did the link not work on the Discord side? Let me double check. And Nightbot may not be working on that side, which is wild because it certainly has been. Like I've seen people get like timed out and stuff for it. Let me try this. Oh. I think I know what's going on. It should be there. Still not working. Well, either way, I can get you the link. Apologies for it not working on that side. That is something I will have to look into. Because like I said, the bot should be working on that side. The reason it's not, I don't know. The Discord ping didn't work either? Really? Oh no, I just forgot to do the Discord ping. That's straight up on me. That might help things out. Okay. I didn't see it. Yeah. Apologies for that one, chat. Apparently I'm slacking. Okay, so we can't do that one. There are no better nodes to do, so I guess we go sit on the 90 node here for Conda. Because again, I do need like gold stuff anyways. Have I seen the second episode of Strange Fate yet? I have not. I was actually asked that earlier in VIP, and I was telling people that I want to hold off at least here for a little bit because irregardless, like I'm gonna end up watching it all. But trying to convince girlfriend to watch it because I think she'd really like it. She actually likes some of the Strange Fakes author's other works, including Bacano, which she was showing to me this weekend. So But I'm trying to like get her in on it, and if I can, then I can try like watching it with her. Discord ping fake, yes. There we go. I realized earlier that we have a free SSR ticket this year. Who's your pick? I'm trying to remember what the free one is. That's the one that comes at Annie, right? But that's going pretty good, JC. I think so. Yeah, I'm looking. I'm not seeing it under the anniversary stuff, so you'd have to remind me of where it is. Because you definitely get like the pity improvement and the destiny order and stuff, but if that's what you're referring to as destiny order, then sure, but I'm not seeing SSR ticket. 30 million campaign? Just chat know when that is. I remember we had a long time before that was the thing. October. October. There it is. So this bad boy. Um I think it's just one on that one. I have like NP2 Dioscuri, NP4, NP3, NP2. I actually don't have Tesla, which is kind of wild. I think I have NP5 and Keto. I think I have like 3 of Bradamonte. I just got NP2 of Ritra. I only have 3 of him. I think I have 2 of Cats. It's either 2 or 1, I don't remember. Same thing with Mabe. I gave like 3 of him. 1. I gave like 3 of her. Actually, don't know how many Shez copies I have. I want to take a stab and say 3. I'm pretty sure I have 5 of her. Only have like 2 or 3 of Jack. I think I'm also at like 4 of Nightingale. There you go, chat. The only unit I don't have is Tesla. That's a dear lord, that's a 5. Honestly, I may actually pick the extra copy of Nito Alter. I may do it. Or I don't know, maybe I go for Ganesha. I know that's a wild take, but that may be what I do just to have access to the anti-lawful niche. Easy Nito Alter pick for me. Yeah, I really like Nito Alter, and she's one of those ones where it's like I would gladly take like in P5 ver if I could, but I also just don't know like when we're gonna get spooked by her, and I don't really want to have to devotedly roll for her. So taking her off of a like selector ticket's not a bad roll. I'd have to also, and this is I'm dead serious on this chat. Because it's a free one, and because I don't have to pay, I think rules about things like NP6s are kind of out the window here. So if I don't feel like I get a whole lot of value from an additional pick, going for like more coins here is not a problem as far as I'm concerned. So when I look at that, I'm gonna go, okay, do I actually need the coins for any of the 5-star like saber faces? And I don't believe I do, but I'll double check. Is an MP1 Taigong Wang worth it, you think? Yes. Yes, very much so. What did I mean by reacting to chat's videos? We usually do a like media react night every once in a while where chat loads up the request channel on Discord and I react to what they want me to. Though I do ask that chat tries to keep the videos on a shorter basis and that we at least look for things that would be interesting, not just like I've seen people put some pretty brain rot stuff in there. And I don't mind it to a degree, but it's like if it's not that funny, I don't really care to watch it. And that's why I've asked like mods before to go through it and kind of screen it some. Not till October, so 10 months away. We have so much time. Yeah, you have plenty of time to prepare and plan. MP2 of Lancer Arteria. I mean, honestly, again, you guys now know what the future holds with her. Makes her a really strong pickup, but choice is kind of yours. I'd say, like, if for no other reason, at least getting a single copy of Lartrea now is really good, just due to the buff capability that she has. No, you laugh, you lose type of thing. I mean, you could do that if you want. I don't care. I'm talking like people have put stuff in there that's like legitimately not funny and just cringe. And like it legitimately just wasted everyone's time. And I don't know why people put that stuff in. I'm gonna be real with y'all. Like my threshold is pretty low, but somehow people manage to fall below it. Getting in Keto NP for granding is, I think, is my option so far. Yeah, I mean, definitely. I obviously with any of these selectors, the consideration is like if you can go for somebody that's story locked or limited. Remember, that's obviously a benefit to you. But I mean, again, there's nothing wrong, especially if you like the permanent unit and you don't feel like you have enough copies of going for that. Shorter proceeds to watch 40-minute episode of the show. One that I guarantee you we will watch today, because I've been meaning to do it, is we are watching the new episode of Space King. Okay? Because I'm behind on it, and I want to see it. And I keep, like, forgetting about it. We're watching Space King, chat, and you can't stop me. Yeah, let's go over to JP. You don't want the 10-hour documentary on the fall of the Roman Empire? No, because honest to God, I could probably tell you most of what's in that documentary. And everything else would just be people kind of just flapping their gums about things that's not that important as to the fall of the Roman Empire. Beat Samurai Remnant, by the way? Like the event or the... You can't have beaten the event, so I assume you mean the actual game. My Alice Bond 5? Nope, not yet. Yeah, there's multiple endings. I started ReFantasia this weekend. Let me know how you like it. It's still one of those, like, I kind of want to go back to it, but admittedly there were parts of Metaphor that I'm like, I don't know, I just don't care. Which is weird, because I don't want to make it sound like it's a bad game. It's not. I just don't think I was in, like, the mood for it at the time. You don't want an 18-hour critique of Star Wars Outlaws? No, because okay, so hear me out on this. Star Wars Outlaws is an interesting game. Star Wars Outlaws is way better than any of the like talking heads on the internet would tell you it is. Star Wars Outlaws is still not like a great game. It's not a bad game, and it actually has some redeeming qualities that are amazing. But it's not a great game. So I don't blame anybody for skipping it or not paying the exorbitant price that Ubisoft obviously wants for it. So that's where it's like, you'll get people that'll sit there and they'll talk about why the game is so bad. And it's like, it's really not. It's really not that bad. People are just like, I don't know. They do almost unfair comparisons. Where it's like everything has to be like Elden Ring. Everything has to be like some ridiculous, like, over the top, like graphical fidelity, like insane thing. And it's like, it really doesn't have to be. And let's be honest, chat, with the price of RAM and the price of GPUs, hey, video games, stop making better graphics. That's all I can say. Like, unless you guys want to be charging an arm and a leg, or paying an arm and a leg, really, I hope video games kind of just sit where they are graphically from now on. The book said the waxing moon is waxing, or is it waning? How's it going, Ern? I just find the character designs are a bit plain. I felt like Outlaws had a lot of good stuff for it. It suffers from a almost lack of content. It actually could have stood to have more areas and more like stuff to do. And then let's address the elephant in the room, and the elephant is the main character and her face. And I'm not someone that's going to sit there and be like super critical of like the way people look, but it's pretty clear when you compare side by side images to the model that they used, and even like earlier shots from the trailers to like the way the game was released and like how she kind of looked in the end. It's pretty clear that they uglified the character for some stupid reason. And I hate that. Like, not every character has to be the most amazing, pretty character, and like over the top in terms of like sexuality. But to me, it's like, don't make people ugly on purpose. Like, especially not for the character that you're going to play as that you have to stare at the whole time. I don't know. It just seems weird to me. And just tax season start CAD soon. I don't know when they're going to increase our hours, and that's something I'd like to talk to you guys about here for a little bit. Going forward, again, you guys know I've been dating a lot more lately, so that has cut into my time. That will continue to be a thing. However, with regards to tax season, I'm going to ask you guys once more to bear with me. And what I mean when I say that, okay, so I actually messed this up. I didn't do these stuff in the right order, so we're just going to go ahead and use a command seal. When it comes to tax season, I work an extra hour every single day. So that's kind of rough on me, especially. I would still like to keep up my working out. I would still like to keep up my cooking for myself. So what I'm going to ask chat is for some open-mindedness on stream start time. It will certainly not be 7 o'clock. It will probably be like 7:30 to 8 o'clock for the like tax season duration. I hate that that's the case, but it just is what it is. I think that sort of thing, if I want to maintain a healthy lifestyle, is what I need to do. January 1st to 2nd for some, yeah. That's why I play female leads when given a choice. I'd rather look at that. Yeah, no, I kind of am very much of the similar like idea, but it's really bad when they purposely make the female lead ugly. That's at least my opinion. And show Cad your dividends, Chad. It'll give him PTSD. Won't give me PTSD. Dividends aren't hard. So far with Expedition 33, I'm liking the story, but gameplay is not vibing that crazily. That's kind of how I was as well. I know a lot of people that really like it, but I get it, but at the same time, I was kind of just like, to me, I guess in a weird way, it felt to me like the game really just wanted to be avant-garde. There's nothing wrong with that, but like for especially like the early game would have craved a much more like simplistic approach. And I don't feel like the game really gives you that. It kind of just throws you in the deep end pretty fast. And so I'm not going to like say the game is a bad game or anything like that. I'm just going to say like, I don't know, the game felt system-wise pretty convoluted to me. And I just didn't care for it. I think I was just looking for like, again, a good quality like JRPG style of game. And I realized that like, well, yes, it does have that. It also is more. And that I wasn't really looking for the more. Gotta do you. All good by almost, if not everyone here. I mean, I hope so. I'm gonna say, like, if chat ever has like misgivings about that stuff, feel free to like come talk to me, or like, no, we could have an open discussion here. I don't mind. It's something that again, I think you guys have rightly detected a shift in my priorities, and I'm prioritizing myself a little bit more now, but it's helped. If you guys have noticed, I'm not really like burning out anymore. I'm not like getting to a point where I'm mentally exhausted as much, and so that's been nice. I just like stories that are brought down by gameplay. Like I said, I think it's just it's a taste thing, right? I wouldn't say that it's brought down by it. I think I prefer a different approach than what Expedition 33 has. And I'm apparently one of very few, because I've heard from a lot of people that really like the game. The thing is, and I'm going to say this, I think there are games that are self-patrolling, such that I'm one of very few people that have tried Expedition 33 and didn't really care for it. But if we think about this, some games just naturally don't appeal to people, so they won't play them. And because they don't play them, they're not going to shit on the game. Like, I think this is like the idea of, you know, like a Shroud or someone like that not liking Expedition 33 and saying it doesn't deserve to win Game of the Year is because most of the time people like that haven't really played. And I think Shroud actually did. I don't remember exactly. But the idea behind it is that, again, if there's a game type that aesthetically does not look appealing to you, you're not going to play it. And therefore, most people, I think, will just not really render a judgment on it. So when you go to look at reviews, the reviews are naturally self-like profiling, and it makes it very easy to kind of get a high review score. So it's like everybody that plays the game likes it because everybody that doesn't like the game isn't going to play it. And it just makes logical sense. And we do see this with a couple of other like games as well. It's not the only game that sort of phenomenon has happened to. Cad choosing himself over us, top 3 anime betrayals. Yeah, I know. No shame in doing story mode if you're not a fan of the gameplay but loving the story. Yeah, I get that. I don't know. I'm also not going to say that particular type of story is like my favorite either. I think one of the big reasons that Expedition 33 appeals to people is these sort of like kind of grim, dark, fatalistic viewpoint that seems to be really popular over the last like decade or so. Some people really like that. I don't really care for it. I like fairy tales, chat. As evidenced. Like, I just like stories that actually have hope and are uplifting and stuff like that. And I may or may not know a bit about the ending of Expedition 33, so I'm just going to leave it at that. Because I don't want to spoil anybody that hasn't played. But, like, to me, I don't think Expedition 33 is necessarily my cup of tea. I tried watching streamers play it, and it just sucks. I don't like the genre. It's all the same repetitive thing. Oh, really? So when you say you don't like the genre, you mean like you don't like a JRPG, if you will. You don't like a turn-based like strategic combat type game. Oh, MOBAs, not RPGs. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think you could say that because the MOBA genre comes from Dota being a mod for Warcraft 3. So everything is based off of Dota, and yeah, it does feel like as a genre that they have not really tried to experiment too much with the formula. Oh, Rivals. I gotcha. I mean, that's fair. I think having played Overwatch and having played Rivals, while they're very similar games, there is a discernible difference between them. And it's one of the reasons that like I've managed to keep going back to Rivals as opposed to like I think I'm permanently done with Overwatch and I don't think I'll ever play it ever again. I think Overwatch, to me, it's like it's such a set in stone formulaic thing at this point, and I just know that I don't care about it. At least with Rivals, they do seem to still be like taking a bunch of like big risks and stuff with how they design things, and that makes it really interesting to me. So it's like there's a lot of like fun still to be had in Rivals. Like, for instance, you can ask them before stream. I was playing just in a bot match. I was playing with Rogue, and I was laughing because I actually got uppercut by Spider-Man into the air. And one of Rogue's abilities is that she will actually like pin someone down and steal their superpower. So Spider-Man uppercuts me. We're both flying up into the air together, and I grab him and pin him midair as we are still flying upward. And then I get his uppercut ability, and I uppercut him even further. So I was chuckling because it's like, I've not seen that interaction before. That was great. So it's like, that's one of the reasons I like Rivals is while it is still the hero shooter type of thing, I still find that there's a lot of like fun to be had in the game. A lot of like interesting little like interactions and things that like, because I just haven't played the game religiously, I haven't encountered some of those. I enjoyed the gameplay and the story is good enough. I mean, like I said, I know I'm the odd man out on Expedition 33. I don't basically, what I'll tell you guys is I am smart enough and I guess mature enough to say, like, I don't like this. This isn't necessarily for me. But it doesn't make it a bad thing. And that you guys shouldn't heed my opinion on it because so many other people do like it. I think that's a difference there. I tried giving the Gundam reskin a try, but it loses novelty real fast. I think that did, yeah. I from everything I heard, the Gundam one, like, people enjoyed it, but it didn't have a lot of replayability. But I don't know, because that one I didn't play. I really liked Rivals, but I've been finding every time I queue into a quick match, I'm placed in super high rank. Players is like 70% of matches. So this is going to sound weird, but I don't actually mind that. At least in the sense that when I'm solo queuing, I do get occasionally pretty decent players, but I'm also pretty decent at the game, so it doesn't bother me. Occasionally, I get somebody that's just kicking my shit in, and if they do, they do. And then I go in and I kick someone else's shit in the next match. What I have noticed that will absolutely ruin your day, and this is, I think, the worst part about Rivals, and I'm going to make a bold statement here. This is the worst part about team-based shooters in general. This is not a unique problem to Rivals. Skill-based matchmaking. Fuck skill-based matchmaking. And here's why. I want to play with my friends. The second I go to play with my friends in Rivals, in Halo, in any number of other games, it immediately starts pairing you against super sweat teams that just religiously play the game and never ever take a break. And you can't have fun then. You just want to play with your friends and have fun, and it makes it the most miserable experience imaginable. You're just looking for an even game, and instead you are constantly facing harder and harder teams. So it's like, I don't have a problem solo queuing in Rivals. It's fine. The second I try to group up with someone, though, it starts getting worse. I can usually group up with one other person and there's no problem. But the second I group with two people, it becomes a problem. And it's stupid. And I don't think that has, like, I don't know what the formula is there, but it needs to be tweaked and refined because it's so unfun. And I get they don't want, like, pub stomping type of deals, but, like, good lord, man. I had a friend look at Expedition 33 and go, yeah, that shit is ass. Just a French Final Fantasy with undertones of Bob Ross telling motherfuckers to paint my life like one of your French girls. Well, that's what I'm saying. I think with something like Expedition 33, it literally is self-filtering, right? If you don't like it, you're not going to play it. And therefore, it actually is a little bit of a genius marketing move. And hear me out, chat. I actually think this is good. Okay? You want to know why that's a good thing? It's a good thing that a product on site filters and just gatekeeps itself. The reason why is because the product is made for people that like it. It is not trying to appeal to literally everyone. And that is actually what we need more of in video games. We need products that are catered to their demographic. And not, hey, I want a game that's for literally everyone. The problem with games that are for everybody is it never actually ends up appeasing everybody. Instead, it pisses everyone off. A game that I can exactly give this example of Let me see if I can find it here. Yeah. Right here, chat. This is a game that tried to please everybody and is pleasing literally no one. Because they can't give up on it and just do the thing that the players want them to do. And that's my entire point. Like, there's too many games now that try to like be MMOs and try to capture multiple audiences, and it's like, no, stop. Same thing you can say with like movies and television too. I think that is naturally the problem of a lot of IPs is they're too damn greedy and they try to cater to everybody, and because of that they lose sight of their actual vision, their actual like creative like center, if you will. Why can't my target audience just be everybody? Well, it's like quite literally, okay? So, chat. I have a bold statement again to make. So, if you look at something like Star Wars, okay? Star Wars literally was one of, if not the world's biggest IP. Okay? Everybody kind of agree on that. Like, after the prequels, it was such a big phenomenon that when episode 7 comes out, like, it shattered box office records. Shattered, okay? So what is the problem with Star Wars? They got greedy and they wanted Star Wars to be for literally everyone. Even the world's biggest IP was not technically for everybody. It did do a good job of capturing the imagination of almost everyone, okay? But the problem is in trying to, quote, make it for other people that it was not, they shifted it. They warped it. They contorted it into this more narrow viewpoint than it ever had been before. And in doing so, it has just pissed everybody off. They've actually narrowed Star Wars down and made it less broadly appealing because they're trying to fixate it on something that it wasn't before. And in doing that, all they've done is aggravate the people that were already fans of it. And when you're the world's biggest IP and everybody's already kind of a fan of you, pissing off all of your existing fans for the few you don't have has got to be one of the most like pants on head moves I've ever seen. That is like the Emperor's New Clothes. Like you're just dumb if you think that's going to work. And it's not. And it still won't. Like, hilariously, everything to do with the Star Wars sequels is a failure in the sense as it relates back to the sequels. Everything that tries to disconnect and distance itself from the sequels does better. And I wonder why. It's because people still like Star Wars and they want Star Wars to be what it once was. So everyone still wants to keep giving Star Wars more of a chance. But the idiots that are running it are too stupid and proud of their shit that they took over there in the corner, and they don't want to get rid of it. They don't want to flush it down the toilet. KO2, thank you for the 26. Appreciate it, my dude. Modern movie making is why I fear for Spaceballs 2. I mean, the good news is Mel Brooks is still involved in that one, so I am kind of confident, but he is old, so who knows how much of a say he actually has. But yeah, I think when I look at this, it's like, the problem is when you try to make an IP something that it's not. When you try to, like, branch it out and you try to make it something grander and more. Like, the one credit I'm going to give, like, Fate and Nasu is that Nasu knows what Fate is. And while he does keep trying to do new stuff with it, it all has that same core vision and it doesn't branch too far from it. And the issue that we end up having is with any of these IPs is when either somebody else sinks their fangs into it, or basically when somebody is trying to, like, again, change the IP from a, like, basic standpoint, and it just doesn't work. Both John Boyega and Oscar Isaac say they will never work with Disney again. Yeah, and I can't say I blame them. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how much of that's actually quote unquote Disney's fault, so much as it, like, somebody has to take the blame, right? So John Boyega and Oscar Isaac both were victims of the script. So why were they victims of the script? Because there was no, like, coherent vision. There was no plan, and therefore the script for each movie was different. So ultimately, at the end of the day, you could say, like, this is the fault of, like, the directors and the people that were in charge of the actual movie itself rather than Disney. But you still have to blame Disney for okaying whatever the hell this was. Disney just wanted to print money. They didn't care how it went. So, yeah, I feel like that is Disney's fault, 100%. Oscar Isaac was in Moon Knight, though. That's a good point. When did Moon Knight come out? Moon Knight came out in March 30th of 2022. Is it really that recent? I thought it was older than that. I thought it was like 2020. But still, yeah. So I guess Oscar Isaac got handed a wad of cash. And to be fair, it's one thing to say and another thing to do. Or maybe Oscar Isaac didn't ever actually say that. Last shit, I completely fucked up any chance the trilogy had of coming back. Well, I pointed this out too. If you guys look at, like, Star Wars from, like, the finish line of the like sequel trilogy, right? So let's say you want to make, like, the Rey movie about her new Jedi Order. Why? What are you gonna make it about? Who's the threat? You've killed the Sith. Like, completely. There can be no more, technically. Like, you could, like, but you're gonna have to do. You think Palpatine Returns is a, like, cringeworthy trope, chat? Let me tell you the even more cringeworthy trope in Star Wars. The Sith are wiped out and they come back because somebody discovers a Sith holocron. Do you know how many times that has happened in Star Wars' extended lore? It is such an overdone trope. And it's what they would literally have to do, because there's not going to be any actual threat otherwise. How many times did Palpatine come back? That depends. Technically only the one time. But there's, like, that second time he comes back, he does, like, clone hopping. So he's more difficult to put down the second time. J.J. Abrams should have stayed on for one full trilogy. Yeah. Are Sith holocrons that easy to open? Nobody fucking knows. I mean, even if it's not like a holocron, it's like, oh, I stumbled into, like, a dark side temple and there a Sith Lord, like, went into my brain and was like, you're gonna do all this stuff. So it's just, they've done it in different ways, but it is the most, like, overdone trope. So Just make the Jedi turn to the dark side because they got emo. Hey, guess what that is? Yeah, that's the extended universe's way of handling it. But that's kind of my point. It's like, I'm not going to say they can't continue it on, but they literally just have to steal more stuff. It's the only way. Their only saving grace is to follow what the expanded universe did, because they dug themselves such a hole that they can't do anything else other than that. You think major changes might come once Kennedy steps down? I think the vision going forward will change. I do not believe the sequel trilogy will ever get errated. I don't think they're ever gonna go back and say, oh, you know what? We have the original trilogy, we have the prequel trilogy, and we have the sequel trilogy. And I don't think they're gonna go, you know what? That didn't happen. Here's an alternate timeline. That's what they should do. I don't think they'll do it though. And the reason why is there's too much like money tied up in this, too many like deals and shit. They're never going to get rid of the sequel trilogy. The best thing you can hope is for an alternate timeline. That's the best thing. And I'm not going to say they have to do that, but Star Wars will begin to die out as an IP. So we've talked about this before, but like IPs live generationally. So if you want Star Wars to continue on, it needs to actually become popular with the youngest generation. And right now it's not. Right now the Zoomers and like the Gen Alpha kids and stuff like that, it's like I don't think they actually care too much about Star Wars. Because in their lifetime, it has been bad. So I think you have a problem there where at best they know Star Wars and they look at it and they like again, the prequel trilogy or the original trilogy. But I think even with the new stuff, it is such a like killer that it's going to cause the IP to basically just age itself out. Unless they do something different. Want to make a lore movie of Palpatine under Plagueis? Honestly, don't do a lore movie. Do a show. That would be great. Like, show a Sith, like, coming to power and learning how to, like, do all these things. If I remember correctly, the sequel trilogy did pretty shit with merch sales. Yeah, it's actually, like, the biggest problem. And understand, chat, when are your merch sales bad? When no one cares about your IP. So the fact that Star Wars merch is just not selling is not a good thing. At least, like, not the new stuff. I assume, like, old Star Wars merch does still sell. At least to some degree, but... Are their parents just forcing them into it? No, I mean, like, I can tell you flat out, my youngest nephew loves Darth Vader. He has watched, I believe, all of Star Wars. At least, like, all of the movies. And he loves Darth Vader, chat. Think about that. He doesn't like the new trilogy. That's... It is what it is. Like... Yeah, the Clone Wars cartoon is fantastic. I know there's people that are like, oh, it has like major lore implications in it, and it ruins stuff for Star Wars. And I'm like, look, you can kind of hand wave a TV show at certain points, right? It's much harder to hand wave the movies because in Star Wars canon, that is like the movies are the most canonical thing. Not dead for the younger kids? Yeah, no, and all I'm trying to say, look, let me be clear here. It's that they're going to like the old stuff. If somebody comes in to Star Wars, they don't care about anything new really that Disney's been doing. They only care about the old stuff from before Disney. Therein lies the problem. What's not selling is anything what Disney's doing. Like, you have things like Andor that everybody likes, and it's really funny because I saw, so there was recent news that Kathleen Kennedy was going to get ousted again here, and that may be coming to fruition. We'll see. But this has also been like a rumor now for like 3+ years. But it kicked off the sentiment online that I saw, and I saw a bunch of people trying to say, per the creator's own words, that Andor would not have happened if not for Kathleen Kennedy. And so everyone was like, oh my God, yeah, but that means Kathleen Kennedy's great, and like all these other people are not. And I'm like, no, because if you go back and you actually looked at the way things unfolded, sure, Andor would not have happened if not for Kathleen Kennedy. Andor almost also didn't happen because of Kathleen Kennedy. Quite literally, if that guy had not forced himself into the situation, you would have no Andor. All Kathleen Kennedy did was she was smart enough to get out of the way of a good idea. And I'll give her credit for that. But I'm not going to give her credit for like coming up with the idea. She's not the person that actually ended up like doing it. She would have had Andor be a completely different show and literally ended up kind of stumbling into success with it. Didn't What's-His-Face introduce some weird otherworld timeline travel BS in Clone Wars to avoid his precious Ahsoka from dying or something? So you're talking about Rebels, not Clone Wars. And that is, yeah, that's, What's-His-Face? Cowboy hat guy. Dave Filoni. Rebels creates alternate timeline. Ironically enough, chat, that is the only way Star Wars is getting saved. This idea, which at the time was anathema to Star Wars, because we didn't really have alternate timelines in Star Wars. Now, it's the only way Star Wars is going to get saved. The only way. The only way that they're going to actually be able to like do something with the future of Star Wars beyond like the past stuff that is still popular. It's going to take something like that. Thank you, Ash. New Star Wars game, they previewed the Game Awards, could be huge for them. Honestly, the Star Wars games are looking pretty decent so far, and it's mostly because they've gotten away from like EA being the only one with the rights. So I'm really happy because now EA hasn't had the rights for, I want to say, like 4 to 5 years. And because of that, you're now getting to the point where some of the Star Wars games have had enough time to be ideated and developed like profusely. So you're now going to start in the next like year or two here actually beginning to see some good quality Star Wars video games again, which I'm so excited for because it has been so long. Jedi Survivor and Fallen Order are great. Yeah, but that's mostly in spite of EA. If you know anything about EA, you know that Respawn is a thing, and Respawn basically is the studio that used to be the Halo developer. Or sorry, no, not the Halo developer. That's Destiny. It's Infinity Ward. They used to be the creators of the original Call of Duty back when Call of Duty was good. Yeah. So the reason Call of Duty kind of stopped being that way is because Respawn left, but They still have Infinity Ward, but Infinity Ward, the name was kept, but the studio was gutted, and they left. Whatchamacallit, Actibliz, and basically, which was just Activision at the time, and basically went over to EA, and EA had to agree to give them kind of like autonomy. So while yes, Jedi Fallen Order is fantastic, Jedi Fallen Order is almost like in spite of EA. Titanfall 2, no, yep. Force Unleashed was the last good Star Wars game. Fight me. I wouldn't say it's the last good Star Wars game, but I do agree that like you had the Force Unleashed, and then you go a long time like without really having one. It was kind of the last of a like generation of games. I think EA being made private's a good thing. We'll see. I'm skeptical on it, but I still think there's possibility for it. It just really, to me, it really depends. They could make it like good by taking it private, but there's also a lot of possibility for like bad things to occur because of it. Okay, chat. So we're done on the JP side of things. There's no more free story spin. Just makes me sad. As always, rock bottom can get deeper. Yeah. Already at 73 missions done. We're not doing too bad. Okay, chat. Let me double check something here. How much quartz do I have? Just double checking the present box, trying to make sure there's nothing sitting in here. Doesn't look like there is. No filters on. It's not as much as I'd like, but I'm gonna try to at least like see, can I snag a UE copy. I know this is gonna result in me getting Ushi somehow instead. Mods help, yeah. As always, rock bottom can always get deeper. Oh, I know. Someone brings a shovel. Does Takaru banner end? I think it's at the end of the event. You still have it for a while. At least if I remember correctly. Just keep telling Gotcha you want the CEs, CAD. I do. Like, low-key, I'm not going to complain if I get event Cs. I think it's gone on the 13th. Is it? That's odd to me if it's that fast, but okay. I thought they made it last to the end of the event. Until tomorrow when I see. I wanted that Musashi C. I love the art. The art is fantastic for it. It is, to me, it is just one of the like better drawn Cs in the game because they get the like they nail the lighting of that C. Banner was just 9 days on JP. Oh, that's good then. Guess it means we got an extension. Yeah. Ba-dum-ba. I'm waiting for the Musashi banner to try for you. Yeah, you're more than welcome to. I have NP5 Musashi, so there's no point in me really rolling on it. Well, at least I get one of NC. On caster. We are number one. Almost, yeah. Wait, roll session? Maybe. Well, I have enough for one more chat. Let's go for it. It was actually a decent chunk of 4 and 5-star Cs, but I'm not like, this isn't a super big roll session. This is just me attempting to snag a copy of Yui. It's a nice change going to pity for Cuckoo, yeah. Define it. We at least get another 3-star C. You didn't specify gold. I know. I know I didn't. But it is what it is. Oh, that paused for a second. Hi, Shufu. Mellow. Chat's probably right on that, Nicole. If they're saying it's the 13th, they're probably correct. I can check, but I assume they are right. Damn. I'm thinking this is a min roll. Oh, how about we talk about Yui until she arrives? I mean, you can. This pauses always bait me. Sometimes the gacha just takes a bit to like load up whatever the next thing is. Oh, there we go. So now I have one of every CE. I'll definitely take that. It'll make the event easier to grind out. What am I rolling for, CAD? Just a copy of Yui. Which chat would know if they were paying attention. He's rolling for tacos? Yes. I should, by all rights, stop there, chat. Doesn't the 4-star CE look like a demon slayer? No. NP, thank you for the follow. I'm planning on doing the Animal Servant preview. Yeah, like I said, I got to think about how I want to do it because now, over the next 2 years here, every banner is available. I don't really want to go over every single one, so we're probably just gonna like highlight the new units and stuff. And I'll have to think about how to do that. I got tired of using YouTube chat. It's all good. But yeah, admittedly, like, just expect that it's going to be delayed on my end, chat, because once we do it, editors still got to edit, and I gotta sit down here soon and talk with Okayus, because I know he's been wanting me to. And I've told you guys before too that I've been thinking about like changes to the channel and stuff. So that's all. It's coming gradually, right? Like you guys are seeing kind of what's happening here. Which, by the way, chat, just for this week, shouldn't be a stream Friday, I believe. Because instead, I will be streaming with you guys Wednesday because girlfriend is busy doing. She's basically gonna be out of town. So, but Friday she'll be back, and so we'll be switching date night to that night. Kentucky and Lancer Raiko a good catalyst for Ushi? That depends. Honestly, I feel like maybe going the route of Oni would be better. Oh, gold orbs. Come on, Caster. Caster. Bean. There we go, chat. So, had to buy the pack. Not a fan of that, but I'll take it. You get out getting a copy of every C. Actually, a bonus one there of the Musashi one, so. Gonna be 2 long years till Grand Saber Arteria. Well, I gotta get Seal before that, but yeah. Should we be converting pure prisms to mats periodically or not really if you don't need to? I'm a fan of not really if you don't need to. That way you save them for a rainy day, Fred. But if you feel like you have a pressing need, I don't see why not. Especially if you're like a newer player or your account's just less developed overall. Nothing wrong with going ahead and using some pure prisms to get yourself back on track. But I like him as a rainy day fund. So up to you. CLMP levels matter since she uses face cards more. It does a little bit, is my experience. I like that NP2 to NP3 range on her. But it just depends. Burn, burn. Okay, then we got UE chat. saw your original UE analysis. Would you update, if anything? No. UE is still pretty much what she was originally. I feel like the game is very much in the eye of the beholder at this point, where when it comes to like support loadouts and systems, you can kind of run what you want. And the ideal becomes like, do you want efficiency? Do you want like novelty? Do you want noble phantasms? Do you want critting? Like, it really just boils down to this sort of thing. Do you favor farming? Whoops, that's not an R. Or do you favor, like, challenge quests? Like, all of this really goes into, like, how you want to design your account. And it's just weird. Are you gonna roll out the pack? No. Like I said, I literally Ushi's an interesting one, but that was literally just me trying to grab UE for support purposes. Nothing more. Ooh, taxes done? Lucky. Do it in P4? No. UE plus Oberon plus DPS seems to be the best way to use her. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of value there. I believe old Edo has an inverted Eiffel Tower. Yeah, you could say that. You said she's an art support, but I'm actually curious on trying her out with Bizette. As chat's already denoted, you can definitely run it alongside like Scotty and stuff. Yui's an interesting unit in that regard. Personally, she's not a unit that you have to have by any stretch of the imagination. She's just had like some sneaky good uses from time to time, so that's why I didn't mind picking her up. But no, I mean, I think, like I said, the game is very much in the eye of the beholder at this point. Knowing how we know JP is going in the future, and we'll have to see kind of what they plan to do now post-story conclusion there of Arc 2, because there's still a couple of questions. And these are, I think, the big questions in my mind, chat, is like, what are you going to do with the grand system going forward? What are you going to do with class score? Because if they don't do anything more with these systems, like let's take Grands for instance, chat. All that does is that makes Grands a lucrative farming opportunity and a resource sink. But it is a temporary thing. So it's not that big of a deal. Class score, same deal. It's like, depending on how they handle it in the future, it's like, can they really balance the game around you having to like have class score? Not if they don't do an actual part 3. If they do, then yeah, in theory, if you had to go from part 2 to part 3, then you could say that that would be a requirement. Without it, they don't. And if they can't balance around class score, you don't necessarily have to invest in class score. Same thing if we start looking at like the challenge content and how they've handled it. It's like, it's pretty clear there were a couple of units that carved up the finale for JP. If you have those units, you technically don't need other units. So now knowing what we know on JP, we can extrapolate that and apply that to NA for a strategy of how you should roll. And do you have to roll that way? No. But knowing that can make you a lot more efficient. You can say, hey, Like, for instance, I have Castoria Berserker. I know Castoria Berserker just absolutely crushes like the like finale. So because of that, I don't really have to worry about like getting another strong single target unit necessarily. And therein lies the issue, is like what, like how you want to roll, how you want to shape your account. It's like maybe you get those one or two things that you need. Maybe you go out and you grab like Oberon, you grab like Castoria, you name it. But beyond that, the world is your oyster and you can get what you want. So I think there's a couple of like key units going forward, and besides that, it really just doesn't matter. Like, both in a good and a bad way. You could say it doesn't matter in a bad way that these units are not necessarily going to be the most helpful or the most used, but you could also say in a good way that you're free to roll who you want and get the units that you actually desire. Okay, did you ever finish the story for Samurai Remnant? Yes, but I have not done all the endings. Albert hates that one simple trick. Yeah, it's Clairvoyancy X chat. But that's the only reason why I'm saying that. I'm not trying to like sound doomer or anything. It's just I'm trying to say like you guys can be smart now that we have the information on how the game proceeds from here. If that makes any sense. Story Berserker becomes the new Mel for single target. I mean, to be fair, it's not a new thing, right? Like, she's been out for a while now. I think looking at that scenario, it kind of made sense. It was destined to be that she was going to be really strong for that, given what her niches are. Obviously, we weren't sure exactly what to expect, but odds were pretty good on that front. Some people call it the Almighty. Mm-hmm. Some people try to remain oblivious, and that's fine. They can if they want. Like I said, you guys are welcome to like collect plenty of other units and stuff. It's just you now know what you need to succeed. Short of JP changing things moving forward, we don't really know what the requirements are. Like, an example of this that I can give you guys is, again, if you look at like the class core system and like part 3, it's like, do you even have to invest in it? I mean, it's helpful, but it's not a requirement. So if you start looking at things that are required versus things that are extra, you need to do these. Some players won't do these. They'll just say, I don't have to. I'm not going to spend the resources on it. So there's kind of the like the minimalist player and the maximalist player. And the maxer is going to do everything. The minimalist is only going to do the required part. So when you look at it from that perspective, chat, it's your choice as to how you want to play this game. I've usually favored the maximalist playstyle. And I want to be clear on that. Because the reason is that this game is ultimately a collection simulator. And you want to collect as much as you possibly can to make your account more robust and to have more fun with the game. But some people just want to be brutally efficient and just get the things that they need and get out. So I can't tell you that like one is the correct way to play versus the other. Any advice on who to grand for extra 1 and extra 2 based off grand extra battles? No. Doesn't matter. Honestly, I want to say, let's think about this. Out of all the grand duels, let's see, you have Saber, Archer, Lancer, Rider, Caster, Assassin, Holy crap, why am I blanking? Berserker. And then you have E1, E2. Ones that were hard. I didn't feel like the Saber one was appreciably hard. Archer was the second to last. It certainly wasn't hard for me. And I didn't have an optimal one. I used Tortoria. So I don't think the Archer one was difficult at all. I'd say Lancer was a little bit harder. Rider was also kind of pigeonholed because there was a gimmick to it. Caster was not hard really at all, due to the nature of how it worked. Assassin, I had mixed signals on this one. Like, to me, Assassin wasn't that hard, but some people were telling me it was. I think I look at that and I just say people weren't really using, like, comma on it. And if you used comma, it was easy, which means, chat, again, you don't have to have your own comma. You can just take someone else's, and it worked. So I think I'm not going to say the Assassin one was hard. The Berserker one, I really didn't feel like was hard either. To me, it really boils down to just these two and maybe Assassin, depending on, your viewpoint. Assassin was hard if you didn't use certain units. Right. My point, though, is that you could use those units. As opposed to Rider and Lancer felt dependent on who you granded. Those are the only two that I actually felt like it mattered who you granded. The other two, the other ones, it really didn't matter to me. If you're worried about any grands, let it be Caster. Because also a lotto. Nope, not even Caster. And allow me to explain why. Chat, who was my grand caster? Anyone know? Yeah, it was Castoria. So allow me to explain to you guys how I farmed the lotto stupidly efficiently. Sorry, it's going to be a little bit hard for you guys to read. But basically, Ask, Merlin, and Shakespeare. Yeah. Yep. That cleared, chat. Just that. And it was stupidly fast. I think Shakespeare plus waiver works too. Correct. I did substitute because my Merlin hit Bond 15, I think. And I substituted waiver. The waiver also works there. So, interesting thing about that, chat. You really don't care who you grand for the Grand Caster. Like I said, the only two that I felt like it was restrictive were Lancer and Rider. They were the only two. And I'm not going to say you couldn't do them. They were just annoying. So, like, does your grand choice matter? No. Not really. Like, for instance, for extra 1, I'm pretty sure you could just mash and it would win. Extra 2 was maybe a little bit more interesting, but there are numerous people that could just nuke that you could take on support. So it's really the grand duels are more about having supporting cast than who you actually grand. Who did Lancer and Rider prefer? Lancer preferred a strong Shisho, if I remember correctly. And Ryder. I'm trying to think because I think Ryder was like, yeah, was it Summer Cream? It was like Summer Cream or Taigong Wang were both really, really strong for Ryder. Ryder liked support MPs. You could, but you still needed someone to nuke, and it was kind of annoying. So, like, I had to take a Grand Wang most of the time, and I think the challenge fight I was not able to clear other than with someone's Grand 120 Surf Mo. And it worked. But the Ryder one, the reason I felt gypped is I felt really gimped in that one due to having Granded Mate Alter. And so I realized it's like that one's just tough. It's like it really depends on who you take and how well you can exploit the whatchamacallit, the like gimmicks of the fight. Like I said, people keep saying Grand Lancer was annoying. Chat, what were you guys running on Grand Lancer that made it annoying? Because I like legitimately I'm curious. Because like I said, there were a ton of Grand Commas and you could just take a Grand Comma and win. So that's why I'm curious as to like what people were running that was giving them such a hard time. Comma for Lancer? No, Assassin. Sorry, did I say Lancer? Yeah. Teach me the comma versus Lancer tech streamer, man? No. New Girl was good for Assassin too. Yeah, Gensai. And that's the reason I say this, chat. My qualifications for this are if you can just take a support Grand and clear, it wasn't hard. If that's not as simple as it was and you had to like actually find very specific hard to find Grands, or you had to have specific units granted yourself, that's where like my line was. And that's the only reason why I'm saying like I'm not understanding why chat's saying the assassin one was so tough. Also, keep in mind, chat, I believe one of the solutions to the Grand Assassin was this. Like, if you did this, you won. If memory serves, or it may have been the non-specific chain. That may have been what it was. Because I think the non-granted guts. The Grand Lancer one was annoying because the boss was debuff immune, which kind of annoyed the crap out of people trying to use Enkidu and Shisho. And the boss, I don't remember. The boss had like multiple middle finger mechanics that just kind of flew in the face of all the like major Lancers. I'd have to go back and look at the fight. I didn't understand his mechanic. Yeah. And that's what I think it was. I'm not trying to like call you out, but I think for a lot of people, they didn't understand the mechanic of the assassin fight. And because of that, they weren't sure what to do or how to handle it, and it was tough on them. I do know, I remember, like, I think before I even stepped foot in that, I was talking to, like, Avalon about it, and so I immediately was like, oh, yeah, that's what we need to do. And so that ended up helping out with the instant death and, like, party order stuff. But again, that's half the issue there is, like, knowledge when it comes to JP stuff is just rough because you have the language barrier, and it's not always going to make it easy. Ah, perfect. Okay, chat. We're gonna go ahead and switch gears. I'm gonna start reacting here. Again, FGO, not too much going on. Finish your Waxing Moon and get prepared for the 90 plus. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and switch gears. So that means, unfortunately, YouTube friends, I gotta end the stream on that side because I can't react to videos because YouTube will copyright strike me. So it is what it is. The poor tubers, yes. If you guys want, feel free to join us over here on Twitch. You can also watch, I believe, on Twitter and Kick. For some odd reason, today's stream is working on Kick. Some days it does not, and I hate that. But you can also watch over there, so depending on your preference. But each one of them is at Kadroth, so you guys know where to find me. Space King? Yeah, we're going to watch Space King first, so... But yeah, we'll be reacting. So again, thank you guys for coming today. I will be live tomorrow. I will be live Wednesday. So again, just PSA if you guys weren't aware of that. But thank you guys for watching on that side of things. I'll see y'all later.